Teaching and learning with Mr. Miller. Hey guys, just a quick video here where I'm giving you the opportunity to download a Photoshop template for an A4 poster. Now currently my students are doing this for their GCSE Media Studies coursework, but there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to use this for anything else. Here it is. Feel free to download it. The link will be in the description for the video. And then you can do what you want with it, amend it as necessary. Obviously, if any of my students plan on submitting this to me, I'm going to be fully aware that you've just taken my template, so that might be affected in your grade. But use it as a starting point if you need to, and you can change whatever you want to. Just to go over it very quickly, what I've got at the very top here on the layers is I've got a guideline which I've hidden, but you can use. Now this is to make sure that you don't go into the bleed. Now it's not a perfect guideline, but it's the one that I've used, and that should be fine if you try and follow that. So you want to kind of keep your right aligned to the right, left aligned to the left, top to the top, bottom to the bottom as necessary. And at the very end you either delete it or you just hide it. Obviously don't save it as a JPEG afterwards and export it with that on it. At the very top I've got overlays. I've only got one overlay in there, which is a vignette, and you can see it, to be honest, doesn't really do much. It might actually even look better without it off, but it's totally up to you. I usually like to put a vignette on it. If you wanted to, you could always change the opacity down, change it down to 10 or something like that. Might look a little bit better. Below that I've got all the stuff on the side, so I've got the paintbrushes there. And you can see I've created those. You can see the effects I've put on those as well if you needed to copy those off. And then I've got the text in that blue, which I don't think actually works, but you won't be using that color scheme. Even though I got that color scheme from Adobe Color, I'll link that in the description as well. So you can choose a new color scheme to edit those. At the bottom, I've got the rectangle, which is very simple and doesn't actually look fantastic. But what you can see is I've taken the photograph of the woman and I've cut her arm out and put it on top. So by just adding an extra layer there, I can sandwich that rectangle in there. It kind of looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more arty, probably give you a bit more higher grades. At the top, I've got a logo, which obviously is incredibly poor. Even though it is in lines with that guidelines, it still doesn't quite look right. You can change that as necessary and create your own logo. You can find out how to do that on Google, I'm sure. And now the reason I've put top here at the very bottom of these layers is because actually, if I wanted to, I could make my text higher, and I can. That's going to move the vignette, isn't it? Of course it does. So if I get that text, I can actually move that behind her head, which sometimes looks good. They do that a lot in magazines. Go for it if you want to, don't if you don't want to. And then I've got the background as well, which is just a stock image as well as the woman is there. Obviously you replace those. Now I'm not expecting anybody to be taking this and using anything that I've used here, but it might just be a nice starting point for you. Keep in mind where I've got my images from a website here called Pexels.com. This is completely free. Stock photos and video, so you don't have to pay for these, you don't even have to credit them, and there's some quite nice photos in there. Obviously if you're using this for coursework and you submit those photos, submit this as coursework with someone else's photos, and you won't get marked on those. And if anyone's wondering if you're going to get caught, there is something called reverse image search, which is incredibly easy. So if we want to find out, we can. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. However, if you're making a poster for a nightclub or for some sporting event or something like that, then yeah, use these stock images. Technically, you're allowed to, and that's where I got her from as well as that background. Right then, guys, like I said, you can download that stuff using the links in the description, and I'll link some of the other stuff as well as Pexels and Adobe Color. Thank you. Bye.